Have you ever felt like you're waiting endlessly for a breakthrough? Find out how God's perfect timing, though sometimes painful and challenging, leads to the most incredible blessings. Stay tuned to learn how to transform your waiting period into a journey of faith and strength. God's timing is impeccable, never early, never late. It requires patience and unwavering faith, but the wait is always worthwhile. His plans, though sometimes painful and difficult, are the best for us. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. When God is silent, rest assured He is at work on your behalf. Sometimes He closes doors to push us forward because He knows us intimately. We often need circumstances to force us in the direction He wants us to go. We often try to pressure God to act on our timetable, forgetting that He is not bound by human constraints. We forget that He knows all things and knows what is best for us. We often take things into our own hands, and when they don't work out in the way we anticipated, guess who we blame? Of course, God. We ask God, why didn't you warn me not to take the job? Why didn't you stop me from going on that trip? Why did you not prevent me from marrying that man or woman? We ask Him, why didn't you show me that his parents are so evil? Yes, when things don't go as planned, we question Him and lose faith. Trusting God during the waiting period is painful but necessary to build our faith. God answers prayers in three ways. Yes, because you deserve it. No, because you deserve better. And not yet, because the best is yet to come. When God puts you in waiting mode, do not force your way out. Do not listen to others and convince yourself to act outside His guidance. The result will be tragic. Instead, trust in God's timing. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, as stated in Proverbs 3:5. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11 reminds us that everything is beautiful in its time, and God has set eternity in our hearts. This chapter teaches us that there is a time for everything, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to laugh, a time to cry, a time to sow, a time to reap, a time to toil, and a time to harvest. To everything there is a season. Bad days are a part of life just as good days are. You will have days of weeping and mourning, but you will also have days of happiness and rejoicing. Psalm 35 reminds us that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. We often try to pressure God to act on our timetable, forgetting that He is not bound by human constraints. Trusting God during the waiting period is where our spiritual maturity develops. The Bible says that strong food is for the mature, those trained to distinguish good from evil. We must undergo trials and tests to grow in faith. It's easy to say, I trust God, but it's harder to truly trust His timing and process. When situations become unbearable, our true faith is tested. Trusting God's timing means asking His guidance for our plans, including Him in them, and being patient as He works in our lives. Trusting in God's timing can transform periods of waiting into opportunities for growth and spiritual maturity, offering hope to those enduring difficult times. Please share your experiences, lessons learned, and triumphs gained by waiting on God in the comments section. Someone may be blessed by it. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Would you pass a tough test of your faith in God? If Abraham lived in our time, he might have struggled to trust God's promise of a child in his old age, yet he waited. Eventually, Sarah, his wife, urged him to have a child with her maid Hagar, as she felt she was too old to get pregnant and give birth. His faith was tested, but God was true to His word, and Isaac was born at the appointed time. Abraham's faith was further tested when God told Abraham to offer him, the miracle child, the gift from God Himself, as a sacrifice. What a task to be given by the God you trust and worship. Yet Abraham did not waver. Just as Abraham was about to sacrifice Isaac, God made him stop and provided a ram to be offered up instead. Isaiah 55 verses 8-9 says, My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. God knows everything from beginning to end. He understands that the storms in our lives are meant to strengthen us, not harm us. Jeremiah 29:11 assures us that God's plans are for our peace and hope. Trusting in God's timing can transform periods of waiting into opportunities for growth and spiritual maturity. In Luke chapter 5, Jesus used Peter's boat to teach a lesson about trust. After speaking to the people, he saw Peter and the fishermen washing their nets. Jesus entered Peter's boat and told him to row into deeper waters and cast his net. He and the other fishermen obeyed, even though they had toiled the night before and caught no fish. They caught so many fish that their nets began to break. What a blessing, what a lesson about trusting God even when you think you know. God's timing includes both good and bad days for a reason. They teach us valuable life lessons and help build our trust and faith in Him. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Child of God, don't give up. You may have been waiting for years to see a particular move of God in your life, but remember, His timing is perfect. When God finally acts, it will be more than worth the wait. Endure the waiting period with faith, knowing that God is working everything out for your good. Trust in His timing, and you will receive blessings beyond your imagination. Remember, God never goes back on His word. Thank you for joining us on this journey of faith and patience. May you find strength and hope in God's perfect timing. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.